guys, Crew Blonde Wave. I'm Eric.
I'm Calvin.
I'm Aaron.
And it's time to review the Suicide Squad.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, this is going to be a full-on spoiler review. If you haven't seen the movie, do not watch this. Do not subscribe to us. Get the fuck off our channel.
What?
Get off our land.
Subscribe to us later. Hit the like button.
When we say review, this is kind of just a conversation about the movie. Right?
Yep, pretty much.
So, what do you guys think?
I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Way better than...
BVS?
I enjoyed it a lot more than BVS, yeah. Other than Aquaman scene.
You like that Aquaman scene?
I like that Aquaman scene.
Yeah, you do.
You had too many clothes on. Though.
Way too many.
Lower, Zach! Have you heard about negativity of this movie?
So much!
Yeah. Aaron?
Like, this got way more negativity than BVS, and I felt like BVS...
Well, to be fair, I don't know if it got more, did it?
As of right now, critics are giving it like a 27%.
Yeah.
And then, well, on Rotten Tomatoes anyway.
Sure.
And then the audience is giving it like an 88.
Yeah.
But like for me, I think as far as like the current like DC, universe, cinematic universe, I think this has been my favorite.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and this one, right? Isn't that all? I'm not missing anything.
It's all been released.
Yeah,
so
and then you
far.
got Justice League coming out. You got Wonder Woman and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I personally really enjoyed Man of Steel, and then I would say Suicide Squad, and then I would say BVS. But that's not to say that I thought they're less than 50% rotten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that, maybe this is a conspiracy theorist of me, but I think that when reviewers review a movie, you're far more... It's the same thing like clickbait. You're far more likely to get clicks on your review if you have a negative stance on something.
Yeah, it's a publicity stunt.
It has to be.
It's like what they
literally
did with this,
creating
and then
their own publicity.
Yeah.
And their own buzz.
I'm just saying, did I have problems with this movie? Yeah, I did. But I still enjoyed it.
It's kind of like Edge.
28%.
Edge, who like never gives out 10s.
Yeah.
But then when they do, it's like a big deal.
Sure.
Like they're very critical on like video game scores and stuff. So it's kind of the same thing, I think. The only thing I think that I would have enjoyed more, rather than the whole catch up with the DC stuff that they're doing against Marvel, if they would have had some more tie-in things where we would have seen some of these characters in like a Batman movie. Like maybe Deadshot is the first villain Batman captures in his own Batman film.
You're saying like if we would have seen all these bad guys from Spider-Man and then we saw Sinister Six.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff is what I'd like. You could have had like a Batman movie where like Batman caught Deadshot in it, but maybe the whole movie was focused on him going after the Joker.
Yeah. And
then that whole Harley Quinn, the Joker was gone, and that's how it ended.
See, I see both sides of this. One, I'd love to not have to play catch up to Marvel. Because, you do get a little bit of a rush. But, two, let's just fucking do it. Like, we have all these characters. What, we're going to wait 10 years to see this? No, let's just fucking do it right now.
True.
You could do it maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit more, tiny bit more restraint. But you know what? I still, at the end of the day, walked out of that theater being like, that was a fun movie. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to negativity stuff, like, we're going to talk about problems we had this movie. But it's not coming at the angle of like, this movie sucks, I'm going to tell you why I'm better than it. I think I like this movie, and I want to just talk about it with friends.
Yeah, I think here's a fun movie, here's some little issues it had and whatnot, but overall, I think it was enjoyable.
Yeah. I'll start out with my absolute favorite part of this movie was the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I love the soundtrack. It got me amped.
I feel like there were some points when like the music was just... Like, it was just about the music and just showing stuff, you know what I mean? Like, how it was.
Where it was, like, too much.
Too montagey.
I feel like maybe it might have been too much. The main thing was, like, the Eminem song, I felt. Like, them all getting ready.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it seemed like it went on longer than I maybe wanted. I don't know.
Now, that might be the one song in there where I noticed it the most in terms of, like, going on a little bit, maybe too longer, or not earning this feeling the music's giving me.
Yeah, maybe that's more of what it was. Because like some of the other ones, like I loved like Queen being in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other songs they had, like they were more rocky and more like to the point of what was going on. Maybe that was the one that kind of just felt maybe the song felt more out of place of what was going on or something.
Yeah.
But no,
if I had to give one like criticism to this movie, and this would apply to probably all the other films in this universe as well, is you haven't earned the feeling I'm having sometimes. Like sometimes I'm having a really awesome feeling, but then I'm like, this kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I don't feel like I've gotten here yet. Mm-hmm. Like, when I see the Avengers assemble for the first time, when they suit up and Mark Ruffalo turns around and goes like, I'm fucking Hulk, bitch,
Yeah.
And they're all there, and then you're like, yes,
because you had all these movies in years, you're like, fucking hey.
But like in BVS, it's like, well, here's fucking, you want to see heroes, here they are, they're in a file. Look, Let me look at. Oh.
Hey, look, there's 3 of them.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who made those logos?
Who are the villains? The top secret. Yeah. Who made the logos? Now we have to say you guys missed like the first 45 seconds.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I got in there with my popcorn, my drink, and stuff, and
Yeah.
Deadshot was talking to somebody on the phone, and then killed a guy with a donut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You missed them playing "House of the Rising Sun," one of my favorite songs ever. There is a house. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, God, it was so cool because it showed Deadshot like in his cell in the beginning, and then it showed Harley Quinn because you guys didn't see her strappy.
I was wondering when that was gonna happen.
That was the very beginning.
That was like the first.
I kept waiting for that, and it never happened.
Yeah.
I missed it, I guess.
But
they took it out. They've done it before too.
Now I will say I appreciated and liked the time skips we kind of got of between showing who these guys were. I love the little opening montage things of like Deadshot and showing all the shit that he does.
Yeah.
And all the weapons he uses.
It's like a death battle.
Yeah, it kind of was.
It happened so quick on someone because I didn't get to read everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
I missed it.
I started from the bottom up, and then we would like talk a little bit.
I actually enjoyed that. But,
yeah, I did too.
Now this is a complete spoiler review, but it's kind of telling that Slipknot did not receive one of those things. He kind of joined in late, and he was the first to go.
Well, that kind of felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
I was kind of expecting it.
It was the same thing they did in the CW Arrow stuff.
Yeah.
They had like a random guy basically that was like, he's gonna be part of the squad or whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, I'm running away.
Boom.
Yeah. It's like, so that's just to prove like there is a threat. It's not a lie. We'll just kill you.
Yeah.
But his power was what? Climbing. He climbs anything.
He climbs anything with a grappling hook.
Yeah, he wasn't climbing.
It's not like
shit.
he's suction cupping up a wall or anything
Deadshot
like that.
Harley Quinn could have, Joker could have done that. Like
Anybody.
I don't know why this is so stupid, and I don't know why I did this, but whenever he was like climbing up, I had Jar Jar Binks's from episode 1 when he's going like go when he jumped into the air.
Oh, he jumped.
I had that in my head as he's going up, and then he just explodes. I was like, why did I think that? I wrote down.
Yeah, I just
Why
thought it
am I
was
stupid?
I also like he's a real guy. I've never heard of Slipknot.
Yeah, I don't.
I've heard of the band.
I think he is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the actor because it's like, I've seen him in like press. He's on Conan.
Yeah.
Like, they're all like buddies and like chanting Suicide Squad and shit. He's in the movie not very long.
Yeah.
He's in the movie for like 20 seconds.
He's like, hey, you want to get out of here? He's like, yeah. And he
Even
gets out
less
and
than
flips
Captain
up.
Phasma.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering because whenever I'm like, who? He
Yeah.
hasn't been in a single trailer.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, what?
Well, we had seen him. I mean, I recognized the guy and stuff like that. But another thing you guys missed in the very beginning was, the guard, like the one featured guard that was funny. You know, that guy that Joker got to and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, he's like, they're beating the shit out of Deathstroke, and then he's like,
Deadshot.
yes, I'm sorry. He's doing that. He also is like beating up Harley. He's like he takes a selfie with her at one point, which I thought like I need to make sure I tell you guys that because later in the movie it kind of pays off that he was a dick to Harley. Joker's gonna get him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Well, that's like when Harley was like, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing.
screwed.
Yeah.
It's funny. I like that.
But you guys did see the death of Superman thing they said, or did you miss that as well?
I don't know. Was that
Death
the
of
beginning?
Superman.
In the very beginning, they say something like, the world changed when Superman flew across the sky,
Okay.
and it's changed again when he doesn't. And then it showed Superman's funeral from BVS.
Okay. I didn't see
So
that at all.
it actually kicked off with like the death of the hero is the rise of the villain kind of idea,
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. See, the only thing I saw about Superman was when they were talking about like, what if Superman would have jumped into the White House, killed the president,
Yeah.
that whole
Yada,
speech
yada,
thing,
yeah.
But no, they started out with like actually showing shots from BVS of that funeral that they had at the end for him. Not like the small one at Kit Farm, but the big one like in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting idea. In terms of just like the theme of the movie, I actually really enjoyed it's not good versus evil, it's bad versus evil. You know? I think that played it off pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
However, what did you guys think of the actual villains of this?
Well, that's one thing I was gonna say too. Is like we talked about in the trailers too. Like, what's the villain?
Yeah.
Who's the villain? What's going on? What are these fucking things with the eyeballs over their head?
I've seen the movie. I still can't really answer the question.
Yeah,
I know it's Enchantress, and
They were featured so little in the movie. Mostly
Yeah.
it was just like the bad people, not
Yeah.
the evil
Yeah.
people. Just
So the
Vietnam.
villain were two witches from the past Earth,
The long past.
right?
They said the
So-
humans used to. I'm assuming because it looks like they used like Aztec temples when they were talking about them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're what we used to worship as gods, is what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
She also, when she was introducing Enchantress, they called her interdimensional being.
Yeah.
So she's a witch, but not really. She's channeling something from a different dimension.
Now she also it calls with infinite Earths and that kind of stuff. She
Yeah.
could have been from Earth, but
Maybe.
it was Earth 3, and she didn't
Yeah.
know. But it could just be another Earth, or
Yeah.
it could be another Earth future.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I mean, it could be a number of
I love the way Enchantress looked. I like the way her powers worked. That thing where she comes from the
Ooh, the hand
underside
grab. Oh, yeah.
and then turns, and now you're Enchantress it was great.
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Because you were creeped out,
Yeah.
and then like you realized what was going on.
It looked like something from like a horror movie.
Yeah.
You know, like you're just sitting there, and you just all of a sudden this hand just.
it came from under her, grabbed her, and then flipped, and then went back, and that's the hand. You know?
Yeah.
Such a cool visual. I love that, and I'll say that for all the villain ideas. Great visuals.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Like that giant god man.
Yeah, the
was
brother.
He was terrifying when he started grabbing people in the beginning, and
Yeah.
he grabbed like 3 guys together, and then
Like,
they
rolling around.
they fucking melted into like his body. I was like, ugh.
Did you
know?
think he looked a lot like the Destroyer from
Yeah,
Thor?
a little
That's what I
bit.
thought. He looked- I'm like, he reminded me.
I thought he
of the
looked like
Giant
Destroyer from
Like
Thor,
the-
and then he looked like one of the bosses from Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda. This big,
Like the blades,
big
things
tiki
that
warrior
were-
guy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I am happy that like with all the trailers that have been out, and we've seen most of the trailers. I think
Yeah.
that we still didn't fucking know what was going on.
I'm happy.
I mean,
with
I
that.
thought she was gonna be a good guy, you know.
Yeah.
And then what they twisted with it, I was like, oh okay.
She's
Yeah.
straight up bad.
Yeah. And like they showed her as being, I thought like the way they showed in the beginning that she was gonna be a part of Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
She was gonna be a good guy.
Well, Waller seemed to really be going for that.
That was like the main one. She's like, I have control of her
Yeah.
because I have her heart.
Yeah.
And she was like, fuck you, my heart. I don't care.
He's like,
Yeah.
well, I can, she shows like she can transport and go anywhere and like just fuck things up. And then Enchantress transported and went somewhere and fucked things up for her.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you should probably think about that.
Yeah.
What do you think about? Do you think the visions she showed anybody were actual like could she really give you whatever you wanted, or was it a way that she could just fuck with you to get what she wanted?
I'd imagine it's just to fuck with you. Like, I think that these things knew they weren't gods, but wanted to be treated as such.
Mhm.
Because it said, like, they worship us as gods, but they didn't sound like they were, in fact, gods.
Yeah.
So it was probably about the illusion of, like, serve me, worship me, I'll give you everything. Because you think I'm a god, but, they're
They're really just metahumans.
yeah, they're trying to, I guess. I don't even know if they're metahumans. They said metahuman is like, it's like a signal for what's to come or something like that. Isn't that what Waller said at one point, or even Enchantress said that? I'm not
Yeah.
sure. But just in terms of the villains and that, like, I thought that the big guy was terrifying, and I
Yeah.
never learned his name. I don't know who the fuck he is. I know that he's her brother,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they're into each other or. But like as soon as they show up, like let's destroy everything. Okay, like are they gods? Do they care about humans? Do they just want them to serve? I felt like there was no like depth at all. But they are evil, so I guess you don't really have to, right?
Yeah. And then what they did to all the people.
Yeah.
Sucked.
It just kind of felt like sometimes I was in 2 different movies.
A little
What it
bit.
felt
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
There were certain times where like it felt like the bad guys they didn't have enough motivation other than the fact like he has my heart or she has my heart.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, with everything that the bad guys could do, I'm like, how the hell would anyone in the Suicide Squad do anything against us? And then she decided, like, I'm going to be a swordswoman for a little bit. And they fight off, and they didn't want to do anything. And then she's like, okay, enough of this. And all their weapons go off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why didn't she just do that from the beginning?
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
To make a good movie.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, I would say the brother stuff I think worked out okay.
Yeah.
But I do think her powers and whatnot
Yeah.
were a little weird. He was powerful. They were dodging and stuff like that, which everyone else he just died, but they weren't trained or didn't have any powers or any of that kind of stuff. And then when Diablo did his shit,
Can we talk about that?
yeah,
I
crazy.
I didn't know who Diablo was, and by the end of the movie, I knew who he was. Like,
Yeah.
except for
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, he was the most surprising of all the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Because I expected Will Smith wasn't going to go on this and have a one-dimensional character.
Yeah.
I liked his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But of all of the guys, one of my favorites might be Diablo. I loved him. I loved his not wanting to hurt things, and then you find out
it felt a lot more like a Hulk character.
Yeah,
because I mean, I feel like he was evil.
Yeah,
and now he's bad. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's what you talk about. Like, I've lived with this. It's gotten stronger. Like all that kind of stuff. He's like, what if I lose control?
Yeah.
You know, that whole thing was like, maybe we have a chance then.
Yeah. But that
like
moment when Will Smith or when fucking Deadshot like gets him out.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck! You know?
He's melting everything.
That was great. I loved that.
That was good.
But I'm sorry, but what happened? He turned into a fucking...
He turned into the Prince of Satan or whatever.
He turned into a witch doctor from Diablo 3 that was on fire.
Okay.
That's what he did.
Is that what happened?
That's what it looked like to me.
Kind of what it looked like.
Don't get me wrong.
Ricky.
I'm very ignorant to the character. I don't know if that's a thing, you know? But I felt like as a moviegoer, when it happened, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I don't know what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
He just turned
like why didn't he just do that sooner?
That's his letting loose. That's his. I think it's like
did he know he could do that?
I mean, from the sound of it, he knew what he was gonna do.
He could have done that before. I mean, that's why he was trying to control everything.
Yeah.
It could be like he could be similar to like, say the Hulk like as Bruce Banner got madder. What if he got strength?
Yeah.
Without turning into the Hulk. You
sure.
know? And then as he got even more mad, then he became the Hulk.
Yeah.
He might
eventually
be very
hit
that.
the point of no return.
Yeah. When he has that anger, he can do fire and all that kind of stuff. But eventually, he could just.
Because the entire movie, I'm waiting for the showdown between Suicide Squad and the bad guys, and I'm thinking like,
what the fuck are they gonna do?
They can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? And then they're like, oh, one of our guys actually can do this. You know, it felt almost too convenient for me. Like I'm like, wait, I didn't feel like there was any seeds in there. Like I love when something's surprising but obvious. You know.
Yeah.
And I felt like this was surprising and like,
what the fuck?
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. I looked at Calvin and I was like, what the fuck? But I was smiling. I was happy. I just didn't feel like I earned my happiness.
Yeah. It's like it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And part of that could be that we don't know the characters. But
that's true. That's why I said I'm probably ignorant of them.
I think that's also why I think it would be nice to have some background, other movies with some background on these characters.
I was going to say, but us not knowing is the fault of the movie. I think a fault of the movie I don't think you should have to come into a movie without no prior knowledge.
Like come in there with all the comic knowledge so that you know everything that's going on.
I love the Harry Potter movies, but if somebody that's only ever watched the movies, they're not going to enjoy it as much as somebody that's read the book and seen the movie, because they don't do the best job of filling in all the details to make something super satisfying, you know? So that
sometimes they just tell you what happens without explaining how.
If that's my fault, I completely admit that. I'm ignorant of the character, so I'm not going to enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
But the movie should make... No, he's black eye now. The movie should make some kind of attempt, and maybe I just missed it.
I don't think so.
Some kind of attempt to let me know that, oh yeah, this guy's going to turn into like a Fire Hulk Stickman.
He's going to turn into like a mega Ghost Rider.
I'm just saying, like, if you told me like a second before it actually happened, like, by the way, this guy turns into a Fire Stickman. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, he doesn't.
It was like, holy shit!
It was like a skeleton.
Yeah.
I'll also say I really liked Killer Croc.
Yes, I very much did too, and
he kind of felt like the Mr. T of the group.
Yeah, get him some milk. I would say for all of these characters, I love their characters, but I know that we're annoyed with origin stories sometimes. So let's get to it, But but they're there for a reason. I know some of these characters from Arrow. Mm-hmm. I know some of these characters from like the DC universe. Yeah. Some from the comics, but you just can't know every character. You know. I know that that's like the worst sin in the world when it comes to reviewing movies. Like, well, you don't know everything about comics? How dare you? You suck! But I just don't. But Killer Croc, yeah.
I wasn't sure about the whole, like... Because I was used to, like, more of the comics and more of, like, the Arkham, like, games and that kind of stuff. Like
the monster.
More of a monster crocodile thing, Rather than, like, a human with scales.
Yeah.
But, I think it worked okay.
I mean, you know what? I say the thing about Diablo... And, I need more information to pay off. But with Killer Croc, it's like he's a crocodile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm weirdly okay with that. As opposed to, why is that guy turned into a stickman?
But see, right? I don't think that with Diablo, I wanted to know why he turned into a stickman.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been nice to just know, like, a little bit more extent of his powers.
Yeah.
However, in the very beginning, whenever they were talking about Diablo, it did say full extent unknown,
Yeah.
True. It had that listed there. So it's like, well, okay, he just fucking do anything?
I admit this might just be a problem with me. I'm just saying, like, with the Diablo thing, like, it came at such a convenient time, too, Like, there was just no... Like, when Bruce Banner turns into Hulk in Avengers the first time. He's the evil Hulk that we hate, and he first fights everything. And then you find out, oh, by the way, when I do this, I can control it. So if you had something like that,
so maybe like something should have happened, made him pissed off. He turned into that, and the Suicide Squad had to calm it down somehow.
I don't know, because I have no idea. Maybe if there was some kind of I don't want to rewrite the story. You know?
I mean, that could have been neat. Where like if he went all crazy, and then they were doing some stuff, and Deadshot like they were trying to come out with something. He had nothing, so he shot like a sprinkler system. And set off water, and it cooled him down. He calmed down. And,
I mean, it had that one. See, the reason I was so confused is because I kept waiting for his crown to come back.
Yeah.
Like in that
his
one
BK
scene,
crown?
he had a fire crown.
Yeah, his BK crown.
You know, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't ever be that thing again. You know, I'm not that thing anymore. But it's like, oh, you're talking about a stick thing. So anyway, I need to get off that point, or maybe we do, because I'll talk about that all night. That's one of my problems with the movie. But I want to, never say anything bad unless you can't say something good. I love the actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
really love the job that he did.
I thought I would be annoyed by his facial tattoos like the first time I saw him, but the guy played it so earnestly. That like his facial tattoos made him like more of a softie. Does that make sense?
A little bit. Yeah,
I enjoyed
kind
that.
of weird. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Just before we get off him, I also love that he's the one that saw through the Vision.
Yeah. With the whole like the kids and everything, he's like, it's not real.
Like he saw what he truly was, and that wasn't ever going to happen.
And then, speaking of that Vision, I love that Deadshot's fantasy isn't like his daughter in college or anything.
It's killing Batman.
He kills Batman. I love that. I reveled in these guys' badness.
I really wanted to see Captain Boomerangs. I just wanted to see him he's just like swimming in money and treasure and something like that. I don't know, like jumping a beer on him.
He was one of the jewels of the team too. I felt like
Captain Boomerang.
Jai Courtney is the name of that actor.
I like the actor a lot, but I don't know if I liked him as much.
No,
like he felt almost like useless. You know what I mean? Like
he felt like an Australian.
Rick Flag had no powers, right?
No.
Deadshot technically doesn't really have powers, but he's awesome at shooting.
Yeah, but
he's Harley Quinn. But I felt like he did nothing. But
he did the drone thing.
He did do the drone.
I like the drone thing. Yeah. I wrote down drone. I like that. I wish it did more.
How come? Okay, so he had a boomerang that he threw with a camera on it, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't the camera spin?
No, it was on like
this spins, but the thing in the middle is gyroscopes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Aaron.
I don't buy it.
No, I don't buy it.
I mean, it's
because the crocodile. I get that. But why is this thing doesn't fucking spin?
I don't know. But like, Diablo was strong, right? Killer Croc beat up a bunch of guys. Was strong. Had like skin that couldn't be shot really, right? Like, she had a fucking katana and killed a bunch of shit, right? He had some boomerangs he threw. And
he was a little comic relief. He was a little bit of levity to the team. I'll just say the one from Arrow, who's also a Spartacus actor, was far more threatening to me.
Yeah.
You know, but that guy had a couple episodes of a television show to flesh out his character. This one, I think, is another problem where I don't know who this person is. I like him. He's endearing. But in a team of how many people, do we need him? I think so. I like him.
Yeah.
But, maybe a little less, garbage in the sky spinning around and a little more Captain Boomerang action.
Yeah. He seemed too much about himself and then just working with the team for no reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whenever he was like, fuck this, and broke this stuff, and then he was like, all right, I'm gone. And then he came back. I'm like, this whole time you've been acting like just for yourself.
Yeah. And
now why'd you come back, really?
I have to talk about the whole bar scene in general in a separate thing.
Okay. So we'll go there in a little bit. All right.
Yeah, I was kind of feeling... It kind of felt like they shoehorned in, like, he doesn't play well with others, just so they could kill off Slipknot by having him say, hey, let's break out, and then him watching Slipknot.
Well, I thought that he actually was testing, like, I don't actually think this is mind games. I'm going to use you.
Well, that's what it was.
Exactly right. That's what it was.
But then he seemed like he's just one of the boys, I don't know. If they would have made the boomerangs a little more threatening,
like faster,
I feel like
batarangs.
those giant blades could be very threatening. I just never felt it.
Yeah.
Like there was never a point where the thing came back and killed someone.
Yeah.
It
always felt like...
He caught it.
Yeah.
But,
It always felt like it did less damage than, like, Harley Quinn's bat.
The only times it seemed dangerous was whenever he just swung it at something,
Yeah.
you know, rather than actually throwing it. And
As opposed, I mean, Calvin, you haven't seen it, but as opposed to like Arrow and Flash, when he's in there, you know, he's taking it's one man versus 10 guys with, you know,
machine guns and
with
stuff.
machine guns, and it's believable and threatening.
Yeah.
By the way, things are, you know.
Yeah.
And there's like 10 of them and stuff.
Yeah, and he's
like,
throwing like
"Ah!"
Captain America's shield, where like he throws them, they hit stuff, they come back, he catches them.
And he
you
has
know?
like 10 of them in his trench coat. You
Yeah.
know?
Jeez. Not just
Not
pinky.
not a fucking unicorn.
Not
like he
pinky.
has like
Yeah.
weapons and stuff.
Yeah, the pink, what was it?
The pink unicorn.
Unicorn. Never explained. I didn't want it to be explained.
I'm okay with that.
I like that.
I was
thought it was
okay
funny.
with it being
Yeah.
unexplained.
I'm fine with him being kooky funny,
Yeah.
but I also want that element of threatening, especially
Sure.
him being on the Suicide Squad, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, Deadshot is threatening with his stuff, you know? These fucking guys are
Yeah.
scary, you know? She has this big old sword, it could kill you.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn's crazy scary, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
when I do these reviews / discussions, I always want to do like, let's say one thing we didn't like, and let's say a bunch of stuff we did like. Deadshot's scene where he's taking out all those guys at once,
And everybody just
everybody's
like stands back, is like, we're not
"Holy
doing
shit."
anything back
like
here.
that was a superpower.
Yeah.
You know, that was like that guy could take Batman.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I really liked that because when we saw him actually, which surprise, he fought Batman in this movie. It was more of like a pimp fighting a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Kinda.
he never like Batman just destroyed him. I enjoyed that, but I loved seeing like, look, when this guy's in his element, he doesn't have to worry about his daughter, and he's not wearing his his pimp outfit and stuff like that. Then he's a threat. You know.
That suit with the little eyepiece
No,
and all the shit and...
I mean, I'm just saying, like, he just got his $2 million score. He went out and he bought all that shit with his daughter, you know. And
Yeah.
he was extravagant.
And I'm sure he had like a pistol in his pocket, whatnot, but he
Yeah,
didn't
too.
have his fucking gauntlets and
Yeah.
shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I think he did.
I
think
really
he did
liked
have his
that.
gauntlet in that
No.
scene. Did he
No, I
not?
don't think
He
so.
didn't.
Not that I recall.
No,
it
he just had.
bothered me that he had his gun like this. I'm always bothered. And I know that that's like a culture thing, but guys have their guns like this. I mean, you can't aim properly, and the shell goes, it injects into your eye if you shoot it, depending on what gun it is. You know?
Well, I mean, that's why he has a guard.
Is that what it is?
On his off eye,
I
on his
will-
aiming eye, he does.
I will say one thing I really liked in this movie is I've never really seen it in a movie was all the side sights. I really liked it.
like the
Like
diagonal.
he was holding like he'd have his machine gun, but then he also would turn it sideways and he had his
Yep.
his sights on
Iron
there as well. I'm
sights,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. It's
I've
fun.
got those on mine. You'd probably like it.
Calvin, I mean, I noticed this, but I don't know as much as it about you. Like, I felt like Will Smith spent like a couple months like, how do I hold this gun and make myself look like I'm not
He was actually
like, he was so tight. Usually these guys are like trying to look cool and shit.
Yeah.
But he was like tight, taking only small steps and shit. I felt like that's so tactical.
And then when he was
I-
pushing forward on
yeah.
that,
I truly believe that he spent probably a good 2 or 3 months just on the range.
Yeah.
Readying for this because I could tell in like the slow motions of him bringing like the pistol up in the last scene,
Like he had it.
like he used
Yeah.
proper
Yeah.
like form of full extension lock.
I appreciated that because when I never, sometimes when you watch guys with guns on the movie, they're like, oh,
yeah, they're like bang.
they're
bang,
having more
bang.
fun
Yeah.
on set than
Yeah.
than the character is having a problem, you know. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. That was cool. I actually felt like, especially all the like the background soldier guys,
yeah,
they all did really well too.
Yeah,
I like
they
that.
had
I didn't
that,
feel like they were wasted.
Yeah, they
or
had
just
that
red shirts.
They had like that Navy SEAL feeling to them,
Yeah.
like SEAL Team 6 or something. You
Yeah.
know, the beards and shit.
Definitely.
The beers.
There was definitely one guy that every time I saw him, I kept thinking he was Mick Rory from Legend of Tomorrow.
Really?
I thought it was Heat Wave. I just kept every
No,
time I saw him.
I know what you're talking about. Because there was
Yeah.
one time when they went into the room.
Yeah.
Before they like go like take the roof, I was like, that guy kind of looks like.
A bald guy with a giant face.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like, if you watch Prison Break and Dominic Perel, I think is that
Yeah.
actor's name.
Purcell, right?
Purcell, whatever he is, like when you watch Prison Break and then even Legends of Tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
he just seems so fucking big and imposing. But when you see him like with his shirt off or something, he's not that big. He just has a giant head.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a muscled. It's like someone just took like clay and just went, "Now you're a god." You know. So I saw that extra and I kept thinking like, you're awesome.
Yeah.
But it wasn't him. I'm glad it wasn't him too, because that would have messed things up.
Yeah, right.
Do you guys want to talk about? We haven't touched the Joker at all, but before
No.
we do that, Batman. How'd you feel about Batman in this movie?
I mean, it was short, but
Yeah.
he was kind of the reason of why they were all there. You know? What I
Yeah.
mean? That's
Yeah.
basically what they used him for.
I'm insanely glad that he was in it and not in it.
Yes.
You know, Because I'm loving that.
Like he was present, but he wasn't featured.
Because I had the payoff of him, like his fantasy is kill Batman. You know, I needed that. They purposely, I felt like, kept him away from the Joker. You know, like they never interacted really. I mean, he chased him. But,
he chased him, joined the car, and he was gone.
I think they're like, save that. You can't do that. You can have Batman, but you can't interact with the Joker yet. You know.
Yeah. All they had him for really was just like, this is why the team's together.
Yeah.
Which I kind of liked. As I said before, I kind of would have liked like those were in other movies. Like he was the reason the team was together before. But I like that they didn't overuse him where like they went to Midway City or whatever. And like he showed up to help them or something, like fighting along with them. Like
that
would
have been
like, would it have been cool to have like, you know, see a segment where he takes down like almost all these guys, and then they're, you know, causing ruckus whenever things go to shit, and then Batman shows up and they all fucking feel fear for the first time since they've been out. Would that have been cool? Yeah. But this isn't Batman's story, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to... But this will then go to one of my other problems in the movie, is they had the band gets together, the band breaks apart, and then now the band's back together with that bar scene. I felt the bar scene came out from a different movie. And the reason I say this is because the top secret file that she had in the helicopter, right? That, like, caused a giant rift that had to be repaired.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like either as a viewer or as a member of the team that was that big of a deal. Because I already knew the Enchantress wasn't behind this. I knew that she would have, you know, like, what did we learn in that little, like, flashback of Rick Flag, like, with the bomb thing, that we didn't already know? But it was treated like such a revelation.
I think the one thing we learned in that, there was only one thing I really learned in that flashback, and that was the fact that the Enchantress started a bomb trying to kill Rick Flag.
Yeah.
Other than that, we pretty much knew everything.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, but why does that affect the team so much that they're like, you know, we're dead and this is done, let's go in the bar and drink, you know? I just felt like, why have all of a sudden have this spot here that they then have to, like, rally and get back together, and then, you know, Patty Boomerang comes back, I'm back too, guys.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll say that the bar scene itself, like, not counting like what happened before, felt more compelling as far as why they were together than the other stuff before.
Yeah.
But as a member of the Suicide Squad, I would expected no one to be telling me the truth or anything anyway.
Yeah.
And they're all just there doing whatever they need to because they'll either A, die on the mission, die for not listening, or just finish it and go back to jail, you know? They didn't really have any choices.
I wrote this down. I think it still stands. I said, bar scene is like a great scene from a alternate Suicide Squad movie. Like, this is a really good scene. I actually enjoy what's happening here, but in the context of the movie itself, I was like, I don't think this fits. I personally felt that way. It served a purpose, which was, we're broken, and now we have to get back together. But the revelation doesn't work for me. Yeah. That's what breaks them apart. I don't know why Deadshot was so angry by what he read. Why did he get so angry that he had to, like, stop and, like, no, I have to get a drink now?
Yeah,
just learning that there's such a thing as the Enchantress, and, like, you love her. You know, it's like, well, I mean, we're gonna lie. We've been lying nonstop. Yeah, and you're like, I've trusted you for a little bit.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like, I get that. I don't think my issue is necessarily the bar scene.
Yeah,
I think the issue with that is that the whole top secret rift thing.
Yeah,
which should have been okay. We know it's not true. You know what? If we're going to be going off and dying anyway,
well, yeah,
I'm going to go get a drink. Fuck you guys for a little bit.
That's why I say the bar scene's a great scene that doesn't belong in this movie, because the riff happens and the bar scene mends the riff, you know? So the scene, which I like, then becomes irrelevant if I have to get rid of that problem, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I think, like, I like the scene, but my first impression of it is, like, I don't know why I'm watching this, you know? Other than to get, you know... Backstory of Diablo and... You know, some funny lines and looks from Harley Quinn and Killer Croc.
Yeah. I think if you take out the top secret thing and just have the guy come clean himself, rather than that, and he's like, and it's more of like a, well, if we're going to be going and dying.
I might as well tell you guys.
But, I mean, with the whole lie thing, I mean, I like where the scene went.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense of, like...
I just felt like there's so much more I needed other than that.
It doesn't make sense of the, well, you guys lied and now I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of, if it was more of an idea of, like, we're going to our death, I'm going to go do this, you can kill me if you want to anyway. But the biggest thing for me with that whole thing is I still don't think Captain Boomerang would have came back.
You know what I actually thought of while I was watching it, and this is always a problem when this happens when I'm thinking of this, is that I felt the insert of reshoots a little bit in that scene. Like, this isn't working. We need this beat and this beat. Let's go get it. And then they kind of piece the movie together. It's like, and now we're rolling again, you know? I kind of felt like I felt the editor there more than I felt the filmmakers a little bit.
Really?
Personally, yeah.
Yeah. Because it felt like maybe they were intending for Boomerang to just leave and be gone after that.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then in the next scene, he just walked back in like everything was fine.
I felt like the top secret revelation thing, the bar scene in general, or the idea of the bar scene and what it needs to do, I felt like that sacrificed time that I'd rather have on Katana. Well, I don't really know who she is. I didn't really care about her throughout the movie, and
she just kind of showed up. And she was kind of
cool.
She
was cool, but I could probably cut a version of this movie like with that footage, and she doesn't appear, and you don't miss much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more of her. So she was like is she a mercenary? Is she Rick Flag's friend?
Yeah, well, she didn't really talk. She didn't really interact with anybody. She was kind of there as like, well, I'm here to cover Rick Flag in case shit goes bad.
Yeah.
And that was it, really.
I mean, the only things that, like, really the only thing I felt from her was like, oh, wow, I saw her in Arrow, you know? Like, she's a cool character in Arrow.
Yeah, I kept on wanting to call her, I wanted to call her another name.
Spoilers!
I kept wanting to say that.
I know.
So did you feel like, okay, if say the top secret thing was different, whatever, but they still go to the bar, like, say they still have a little, like, time with that. Did you feel they all, after he broke the thing, I felt everyone was fairly justified going back, except for Captain Boomerang. Did you feel that way?
When they broke the thing.
Like, when he broke the thing, like, I'm not going to kill you guys, leave, help me, whatever you want to do, you know? I felt Deadshot's motivation was more of, like, the world's in danger, I have a daughter I care about, I don't want to, like, disappoint her, you know?
Yeah.
Harley Quinn was more of like, I'm fucking crazy, I ain't got nothing else to do, why not? You know? And then Killer Croc, I feel like they mentioned where he didn't really, like, he tried to find a place to belong and never could. And I feel like this is his place to belong. He's gonna stick around. He's a monster. Just don't treat him like one and he'll probably be alright. Yeah, well, that's what I mentioned. Like,
give me a fucking TV. You got me in a sewer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attack people from the water. Like, you know what?
I would.
Maybe don't have water in my crocodile tank.
Yeah, not fucking deep enough for him to hide in.
Yeah, right?
But that, by the way,
I like the new guy thing.
The new guy died.
Yeah,
he was floating in the water. Like, new guy? Yeah. That guy's dead because you did not make your aquarium right.
Yeah, exactly.
Made it too deep.
I don't know, I just felt like everyone else kind of had a justified reason.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Just kind of came out of nowhere of like just showing back up. I'm like, well, he's gone.
I feel like the answer to that problem, Aaron, is one of my other problems with the team aspect is that, like, when Harley was going to be shot by hanging off that rope,
and he didn't shoot her.
And Captain Boomerang's like, good job or whatever. I don't really feel why they feel like such a team.
At that point,
like, why didn't he just shoot her to get his daughter back?
Yeah.
I also was like, I bet he's pissed off whenever she's like, they're both dead now, you know? Yeah. Like, fuck, she's dead anyway? She killed her, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that was just a confusing scene to me in general, because now I'm feeling like, oh, okay, they care for each other. And I'm thinking, like, I haven't earned that, so I don't feel that. And then, like, I'm also thinking, like, why did Harley act like she's dead? And then she's like, I'm actually alive, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, what, did she know? Why'd she do that?
I think, is there a plan with this or something like that? Is it going somewhere?
Yeah. I feel like there's like 100 really good ideas that were like all shot separately, and then editor's like, fucking, oh fuck! I don't know what to do with all this. Just start like, yeah.
Someone's like, make sure you have this, and this.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I can get that. Because at that part I was kind of like, as soon as she's like, if you do this, you can have your daughter or whatever it was. And he's like, she's dead.
Like, fuck her.
But then he's like, boom, I missed. Like, why?
Well,
what you wanted? Like, why do you care?
I thought, like, well, it's to spite you. Like, I know that you're not going to give my daughter because you said that you were going to do this shit and you're not going to give me that either.
True.
I get that. But they played it like it was almost like, Harley's my girl. I'm not going to kill my girl.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then Captain Boomerang's like, right. But
I guess, too, like, why did she go back? She could have just went anywhere?
Well, Joker's dead.
Because Joker was dead, she had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
She's like, I might as well go back to the people I know.
It's the same thing. It's like, well, Diablo had this line that if it was in another Suicide Squad movie that earned it, I would have been like, aw. But instead, it was in this movie, and it was, I lost one family.
I'm not losing
I'm
another.
not losing another. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like,
That
you've met these guys for a day. Twig Man?
Well, yeah. Because, like, it wasn't like they were all in their own separate cells.
Yeah.
They brought each of them individually and talked to them.
they never
And then
met
they
each
never
other
were
before.
together, really, until then, right?
Yeah.
So,
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
You know
I
what?
guess-
It makes me want a little more Batman in the story to make him the antagonist of
Yeah.
our protagonist here, and that's what makes the bond.
Yeah,
I would enjoy that.
they all
They
hate
all
Batman.
hate
Yeah.
him, so it gets them together.
I would love a movie from the villain's point of view where I'm rooting against Batman a little bit, you know.
And
Especially if he
also-
kills everybody.
Yeah.
And also fear the Batman more
Yeah.
than expecting, okay, this is a shot
Yeah.
of the bad guys with Batman looking through the window. Batman's going to get him.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, they're having a meeting.
So-
and then just Batman swoops in,
Yeah.
and lights out, and hell.
So big problems.
Death!
You'll
be dead!
Big problems with the movie is the
family
family that's wasn't earned.
Yeah, the team.
The team.
Like,
Yeah.
why do they have their camaraderie?
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like we've earned the camaraderie. It's the same reason I have with the Captain Boomerang and all the
Yeah.
other stuff.
So
yeah,
there's
that's,
that.
That's one.
There's
issue.
that. There's the villain not really understanding,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
There's a problem of context because this is a new movie. It's only the third one in this universe, and
Yeah.
we are meeting all of these characters. You know.
Yeah, for the first time, yeah.
So let's talk about. That's our negatives. Do you have
Yeah.
any more negatives? Because I don't feel like I have many. That
I
kind
didn't-
of covers everything.
I didn't understand how when Enchantress went to her brother and said, "Help me, brother, or she'll kill me," and how he just like waved his hand and made the heart interaction thing.
Yeah,
like,
I think that kind of goes.
disappear.
Yeah, that goes with the whole like not
It's like-
knowing the villains and like
Yeah.
understanding why they
Yeah.
can do what they do. It's just like, well,
It's
you
like-
just do that. It doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, if he could just do that, why didn't they do that from the
Like,
start and
I
not
know.
worry about the heart?
Is he more powerful?
I had that.
Or-
I was wondering that too
At
because
one
like
point, she's like, "I'll use your power."
I'll use
right?
your power.
But
yeah.
then he died, and she was still doing shit. So I'm
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck's going on then?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
at that point, she had already had her heart back.
yeah, I guess that's true.
And he's so fucking powerful, but he got killed by like a bomb, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, doesn't Amanda Waller like she controls Argus? Like, bomb the fucking building. No one's there,
yeah. And if they are, they're the fucking weird eyeball guys.
and she wouldn't give a shit even if there were.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
she killed the whole fucking room of FBI people anyway.
No.
And I was like, damn.
Like
Just
I was
because
like-
they didn't have clearance.
Amanda
shoot
Waller.
some-
I didn't like Amanda Waller in fucking Arrow, you know?
No.
Like, I mean, she was a character that, like, I like to hate,
You're not supposed to like her.
but I fucking hated this Amanda Waller. Like,
I
was like,
wrote it
fuck
down.
this bitch.
Hope she dies.
I think the actress did a great job, and I think the character did what it's supposed to do. I would have enjoyed a little more personal power from her, maybe.
Mhm.
Like, I know the actress can do it, you know, but I just don't feel like she was able to really let loose enough. But Amanda Waller in Arrow, I always felt was too pretty. Like, Amanda Waller is supposed to be this big, like, built woman that, you know, she like they even like rank her like above average strength, you know?
Oh, really? Like, she can take care of herself.
Like, she's supposed to be this big, burly, deadly woman, you know? And I
Yeah.
feel like there was moments in this, like when she just mauled down those FBI guys and stuff like that, there was moments where, like, man, you could put her to a fine point and she'll cut through anything.
Yeah.
But she just didn't get that chance, I felt like.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which the whole
She-
cast
she-
kind of...
I don't know whether you guys have ever seen a show called Warehouse 13, but she really reminded me of one of the characters
Yeah.
from that. She's like the watcher of like all the artifacts and stuff like that. But it really gave me that feel. So I wanted to like her at first because
Yeah.
I like that character. And then, like, she just did terrible things.
I mean, I don't think you're supposed to like her. She's supposed to be a very
She-
clear antagonist.
Definitely.
Yeah, she's
but-
like the good guy,
Yeah.
but she's like so bad that it helps make you like these guys. You know what
She,
I mean?
Yes.
she is what the team is. It's not good versus evil. It's bad versus evil, and she's
Yeah.
bad. You
Yeah.
know. It still doesn't beat for me personally. My favorite portrayal of her is from Smallville.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that one.
She did a great job in that. But the Suicide Squad is actually better in this than Smallville did it. Because Smallville had like Rick Flag and like two of the guys that I
that's
know.
it.
Yeah.
So it's not really a squad so much
Yeah.
as like a trio.
And Rick Flag was like this guy in this kooky orange jumpsuit, and I didn't really love it.
What?
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
I loved Deadshot in this because like in that
Yes.
in that moment there when he's watching her, he's like, and I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, I
you
like
know,
that.
like I love that. Like I love
Yeah.
those kind of things. Like I thought, and Will Smith, I wasn't sure. I figured Will Smith usually does a good job in most
Yeah.
things I've seen, so I figured he would do a good job. but I've also got the Deadshot from Arrow, and I'm like, I like that lot too, you know.
I do too.
But this one, I thought he did really good.
Yeah,
it
it didn't feel like Will Smith.
Like
that's what I was exactly going to
It's
say.
one of the first things
Really?
that I've ever seen him in that it didn't
no,
feel.
I think
like.
it
Don't
felt
get me
like
wrong.
Will Smith.
It did feel like Will Smith,
Well,
but
yeah.
when he was first cast and when I first started seeing footage, he didn't have his mask on and shit. I was like, Will Smith is this character now, you know. So we're not going to see like the thing I like about the Arrow Deadshot is that I don't know who that actor is. I'm learning about this character, a lot of new information. He is that character. Will Smith is Will Smith, but
Will Smith casted as this character.
whenever he talked about the bat, whenever he the stuff with his daughter was kind of like what's Will Smith stuff. He doesn't,
Yeah.
you know.
And it was like, well, you know, man, I was just
Yeah.
messing with you, man.
Yeah.
We good, right? That whole stuff.
Yeah.
That's Will Smith to me.
But I felt like the stuff like like in the when he's doing the training, you know, not the training, but he's showing him what he can do.
The demo.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's true. That it
Yeah.
did feel like Deadshot there, because
I
like
felt like Deadshot.
the moment when he's like, this is blank, and he's like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Like,
And
yeah.
it was just hitting in the same hole the whole
Yeah.
time until it rusted through the metal.
yeah,
That was cool.
I will say that was good.
So what I was gonna say is that he's not my Deadshot, but he wasn't Will Smith. He
Yeah.
was
was a
Will
mix.
Smith playing Deadshot,
It
which
wasn't
is, I
like
guess
he
is all
was-
we can ask for, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't like his character from Independence Day. He wasn't
Yeah.
like Jay from MIB or anything like that.
But I
I
mean,
don't know.
he's also a huge star power. I mean,
He is.
Other than him, I mean, I know a lot of these other guys. I recognize them from
Well,
the shows
I mean, you
and
got
stuff.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
Ben
but
Affleck wasn't even credited in this.
yeah, but Ben wasn't really much of a presence. You know, Jared Leto's gotten really big. Actually, the guy that I love, the guy that plays Killer
Boomerang.
Croc.
Oh, Killer Croc. I
I
don't know
like
who the hell that
Jack
is.
Courtney too, but that guy is. They call him AAA because he has a name that's very hard to pronounce.
Okay.
It's like
Really?
A. I don't know how to say it. He was Mr. Echo from Lost.
Oh, that's who
Okay.
played
Yeah.
him. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Shit.
I couldn't even.
You
tell.
told me that before and
Yeah.
I forgot.
He also played.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
I believe he also played. Yeah.
We should get a Mr. Echo Pop and compare.
He also played that one dark elf in Thor: The Dark World. Not the
Yeah.
main one, but the black one. You know, that turned into like the giant monster thing.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know?
Huh.
So he has
I lo-
experience with that, I guess.
I love. Oh, well, I don't know. At the end, when they were all talking about things they wanted,
Yeah.
I liked what he wanted. Captain Boomerang kind of got fucked over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like she said about you want to have some fun, but then it looked like they just locked him in a
Yeah.
thing and didn't give him shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I looked at Calvin like, he's not getting nothing. He's like,
Yeah.
he didn't ask for nothing. I'm like, well, I guess you're right.
Amanda Waller's not gonna give you shit.
No, you gotta ask.
But I like that he got.
And he got one chance to ask.
Now, did he say BLT or BET?
He said B.
I thought he said BET, but he was eating a sandwich,
He
so maybe he
was.
did say BLT.
But when he said BET, like that was my biggest laugh of the whole movie.
yeah.
But then you guys were like, yeah, see BLT. I was like, shit, I was just wrong. My
when
favorite
I
part
saw
of the
the
movie, I
sandwich-
lost it. And then I saw the big asses on the TV. I'm like, BT.
When I saw the sandwich, I was like, oh shit, I must have been wrong.
Yeah.
I must have misheard it. Oh, haha, BLT. But
Maybe she wasn't sure what he said either. She just gave him both.
She gave him both.
just to be safe.
Dude, if that was true, that would be brilliant.
Right?
Because us as the audience wouldn't know either. That would be like meta, man.
that would be amazing.
I hope that happened.
That's funny.
We haven't talked about Joker at all.
Yeah, or Harley Quinn, really.
Or Harley
Yeah.
Quinn. We can talk about them together. I
That
would
sounds
say.
good. I like that.
Harley was awesome.
I know my wife was worried about how she was gonna be because she loved it from the cartoon
Yeah.
and the voice and like she's not because she's watching the trailer. She's like didn't sound like she had the voice. She's not
Yeah.
doing anything. I don't know if I like it, but
She had moments when she had the voice.
yeah, but
I feel like she was more
just didn't
inflecting
do it
and stuff
all
like that.
the
Yeah,
time.
She was more realistic.
She didn't overdo it
Yeah.
either. She didn't like try to be the character from cartoons. She
Yeah.
put her
Yeah.
own twist on
and
it.
she did use pudding.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a time when she said about Mr. J,
yeah.
Mhm.
Mr. J.
but it wasn't too over the top. I don't think with it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I earned her being such an awesome fighter. But she's
From being a doctor to just being able to fight a giant god.
It's just like-
monster.
okay, yeah, Deadshot can take out an army. He's a one-man army. There's a monster. There's a guy who can do fire. She has fucking souls. He has really sharp boomerangs.
Yeah, but use
She's got a bat.
and
and a gun that says
and
hate.
a love hate
Yeah.
revolver.
That was cool. It's cool.
I really like.
I'm
that.
just saying,
Did it
like,
say love and hate? I just
Yeah.
saw hate. I missed the
It,
love.
no, every other cylinder was love and hate.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I felt like there should have been, like, just my knowledge of the characters, they should have been a. She seems really good. You know?
Yeah,
Does that
yeah.
make sense?
I know
Like,
what you
she's
mean.
like kicking ass like Captain America.
Like I would have expected
you know,
him.
except in heels.
I'd expected him to be
Yeah.
good and her to be more useless. You know.
Yeah.
but she was just really good, which I'm fine with her being good. But it's one of those like, did we earn why she's so good?
Yeah.
You know,
I would have liked him to be more like hand-to-hand combat, and her to be more like aerobatic.
Yeah, flippy and shit.
Acrobatic rather. And,
honestly, Captain Boomerang just needed more boomerang.
Yeah.
I needed to see him throw a boomerang and hit like 10 things and then catch it. You know?
Let's not just...
He did that once. I've been like, fuck yeah.
Let's just not use Google Earth and fucking send a boomerang doing that shit. Let's actually do something good.
You're so resentful of that spinny boomerang.
It didn't spin.
It would have been cool if it. Oh, Eric. You know what
Yeah.
would have been cooler than the non-spinny boomerang is if you threw it in there and then you could do like.
No, what would have been good?
Oh,
no, here's what would
I
have been
can't
good.
think of what it's called.
Gyroscope.
If he'd have thrown it
Gyroscope.
and it went in the window and it stuck into a wall and was a camera, bam!
That would have been better. Probably.
It fucking blew up anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He flew it like
fine.
Rick
The problem with that character was
lower,
his
lower,
turn,
and he was
Eric.
like flying it right at the bad
No,
guy.
as we said, it was his boomerang, so now it's a boomerang. Why do you have a gadget boomerang?
Because he's a Captain Boomerang. There's only a couple things you can do with the boomerang.
Throw it. You threw it.
You know what? Oh my gosh. We're so fucking stupid. He left and came back. Remember in the bar scene he left and then he came back and we're like, why'd he come back? He's a boomerang. That's what they do. We're so stupid.
Eric,
That's what they do, Calvin.
You know,
present your face.
It could,
No.
no.
You know I'm right.
No, it
I
could,
know.
it could be. It's kinda
You know
funny.
I'm right. You know that everybody that went down in the comments like, you fucking idiots, he's a boomerang. And then they got to this point just now and like, shit, I gotta go back and delete my comment. That's what happened.
I hope they don't.
That's funny.
I hope everyone comments. He's a fucking boomerang, you idiot.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
I'm okay with him. No, I'm not. I'm not, but that's funny. He came back.
Shit!
But back to Harley, I do see what you mean about, like, we didn't earn why she was so good.
Yeah.
She went from being a doctor to being this kind of kooky, crazy lady.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she had, like, extreme sports hobbies.
Maybe. Like,
I mean, she's hanging out with the Joker. She's hanging out with the Joker. She trusted the Joker. We have to talk about Joker, but he just, when you hang around him, that's the kind of person you become.
Yeah.
I can get to that. I'm more okay with that than, like, the stick fireman.
Okay. Or the top secret.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or why Killer Croc.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with White Killer Croc.
No, he's a crocodile.
Yeah.
I was
that's
okay.
enough.
I'm okay with
that. I don't necessarily need to know why he's a crocodile.
Yeah.
I just
want to know, like, he's a fucking crocodile.
Yeah.
Okay. He has thick, leathery skin that's hard to shoot through. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm good. He's strong. Okay, crocodiles are strong.
Yeah.
I'm good. Nothing surprising about him. If he would have all of a sudden mutated into a giant fucking crocodile, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
I was worried when he ripped his shirt off. I was like, oh, don't,
He
please,
started
no.
growing and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I like when he just crawled into the water.
Yeah, that was
I
good.
Like, what? That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say there was a moment when Harley Quinn was walking away, and I was like, man, I like her pants. And Calvin's like, whose? I'm like, Killer Crocs. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they
She's not wearing any pants. They're shorts.
They definitely they didn't hold back on terms of just in general the sexuality of Harley and Joker.
Yeah.
Joker is a fucking sexual tornado.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never looked at the character in that way. Like I don't find him sexy or anything. I'm saying that's how they're trying to portray him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when
He's a
he was
playboy.
interrogating that
Yeah.
guy, he like got in their fucking lap and straddled him. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's so
It felt very,
He's very
uncomfortable.
he's very breathy.
to like, yeah.
And I don't love it. I like the performance a lot. I just don't love this Joker. Like, he's not my Joker. He's not Mark Hamill being Joker. You know, Joker is an insane fucking tornado. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't have his dick flying all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this one, like, has his dick flying out a lot.
Yeah. Like,
You know,
I don't
he's
think...
wearing, like, no shirt and a fucking, you know, like he's, like, in a Christian boy band or something. Yeah.
Did you think that, like, would he have gone through all that trouble to go get Harley and, like,
I think
other versions?
You know, he would have. I could definitely see the animated series Joker doing that. I like his henchmen, like with the fucking weird mask and shit.
I
That's
like how
crazy.
they had
Like the
very different masks.
Panda fucking Batman
Yeah.
head?
Yeah,
Batman
I thought
head.
that was a pinata for a second.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck's on his head?
I liked that. Like,
Yeah.
I liked that. I actually enjoyed how sick he kind of made me. I thought the performance of Jared Leto, perfectly cast and all that stuff.
The voice I liked was like kind of a meld of like a lot of Jokers. You know what I mean?
I got a lot of Dark Knight.
Yeah, I felt like some Heath Ledger mixed with a little bit of Mark Hamill, mixed with like maybe some like other versions with his own twist. Which is,
I can't say he like made it his own because I did see a lot of different performances. When Heath Ledger brought his performance, it was like nothing we'd ever seen in a Joker.
But it was awesome.
It was that's the Joker, you know? Yeah. In this one, I just didn't see the Joker as I knew him. But I will say, he is a presence. Like every scene he's in, like that's what the Joker is now. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm watching this movie, that's the Joker.
Yeah.
He's not like
he's gonna take getting used to kind of thing.
When I think of like the Killing Joke, and I think of like those like classic Joker stories, I don't see that guy. You can't
see him doing that.
I see him doing other shit, like when he's like firing outside of the plane, you know, and screaming. He has his tux on, like that's Joker to me.
Yeah.
But like the weird sex club guy in the bar scene,
he seems too much like
pimping out Harley,
like a big mafia head honcho-y kind of guy, and not like some crazy madman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has like some kind of like Al Capone kind of features to him, and sometimes he doesn't have enough like crazy madman Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like where it is. Where like the Jokers we're used to isn't that crazy henchman Al Capone guy. He's just a fucking.
Like one of the first few scenes that we ever saw Heath Ledger in, he stuck a pencil on a table and drove a guy's head down onto it. And that really set the tone for that Joker.
This Joker too, like versus, I mean, if you want to compare to that one too, I think the biggest difference would be to compare like that Joker and like his room he was in with a whole bunch of stuff and whatever else and like all the rings and everything. Yeah. And then Heath Ledger's Joker who just burned like $1 million or whatever it was.
Just to send a message.
Just because, you know, I can't see the other be like, well, I'm gonna take this shit.
Yeah.
You know. Like, that's kind of the difference we have.
Feed you to your pooches.
Yeah.
I love that Joker because, just like, you know, the Mark Hamill one and all that, it is utter insanity that is insanely intelligent.
Yes.
Yeah.
This guy was also intelligent. He had the whole bomb thing. He found that guy and stuff like that. But it was... Honestly, I had said this way before we watched the movie. I'm afraid this is going to be Sexy Joker. Mm-hmm. And we kind of got Sexy Joker, you know? Yeah. But then we also got insanely creepy Joker. Because, like, when he's, like, laughing in the room with all the knives in a perfect circle and shit, it's like, did he do that himself? Or, you know?
You sit there and just...
You know?
Well, you notice all the, like, liquor bottles and stuff.
There was liquor bottles, but there was also baby clothes.
There were baby onesies.
That was almost too creepy for me.
Yeah.
But I just didn't
Toddler
feel...
onesies.
Yeah. That was really creepy. Like, up in the right-hand corner, if you're looking for it, there's, like, 5 or 6 onesies. So, I don't know what it's supposed to imply, but whatever. I felt like Jared Leto was very well casted. I just don't personally like this version of the Joker yet. Yeah. He could grow into it, or I could just get used to it. Like, I enjoyed the character in the movie. It's just really hard for me to see, like, you know, The Killing Joke is one of the best Joker stories, or, you know, there's so many of those. Death in the Family, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I can't see that character doing that. Like, I can see Ben Affleck's Batman doing all the Batman stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think he portrays Batman very well.
Like, Harley Quinn, pretty perfect in terms of, like, a real Harley. Yeah. You know? And by the way, all that I said aside, we got Joker and Harley was wearing her actual Harley Quinn.
Yeah, with the outfit.
Yeah, like, when what's her name mentioned the King and Queen of Gotham.
Yeah. Like, let's talk about the surprises, because there's a lot of surprises. If you made it this far, so the Harley Quinn outfit. That was like, I was like, yes!
Yeah, I remember, like, I heard you too. I was like, what? Yeah. And then I hear you go, ah!
Yeah.
Like,
and then out of nowhere, like a lightning bolt, comes the Flash.
Yeah.
Did you expect that?
No, I didn't. Not at all. Not for capturing Captain Boomerang, who was useless anyway. But
Aaron's bias aside, I actually enjoyed the cameo.
No, well, I did, but like
it was interesting, but I
liked it.
When it first happened, I was very like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because all the blue lightning was kind of weird to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm not used to that blue lightning anyway.
No, but I mean, I've gotten used to it because.
But when it first showed up from like in like the foreground, and you see Captain Boomerang, and then it's kind of gone, I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
And then it turns out I'm like, whoa, what's he doing here?
Yeah.
All right, because you kind of got like him in his suit, which was kind of neat.
Actually, that worked for me. The blue lightning, I don't love it, but I mean, lightning is fucking blue. You know, that's fine, whatever. Yeah. It's just, you know, that's like having a bat suit that's, you know.
Red.
Kind of. Yeah, like a dark red. Rather than like a dark blue or something like that. I don't know, whatever. But I love the little cameo. I think it was fun. You know, they're selling their worlds, they're doing all that stuff. Let them do it. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. When the Flash happened, I was like, yeah. I didn't hear the in my. If it was Grant Gustin Flash, I would have ruined the seat in front of me, but I didn't. You know,
dude, that'd be crazy if they wouldn't have shown everything in BVS and then they just had that show up. I think I would have liked that more.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
I would have, but you know, we can't keep getting in this conversation because once we say we prefer Grant Gustin, which I do.
No. I'm not saying I prefer the Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
I think that being the first Flash cameo,
rather than never seeing him
ever seen him in BVS,
okay.
I think I would have liked that.
Yeah.
Even seeing him in the Justice League thing, being like, oh, okay, because like you saw the suit went up, but having the first time you see him in the Suicide Squad, rather than like, oh, it's some kid stopping a burglary at a gas station or whatever the fuck he did, you know, like
like what? And then that one scene where he's in like that giant suit and comes back and talks to Ben. What are some other big surprises? We were talking about surprises. Like I mean, I wasn't surprised that I knew Batman was in it, but I loved seeing Batman. Like I liked that moment when he shows up. Like they go in the alley, and I'm like, Batman's coming. Like I felt him before he even showed up, and I loved that. So that was cool.
Like if I was Deadshot, I would not go in alleys.
Probably one of my favorite bits in it was the "Please, Daddy, don't."
Oh, when she
steps in front of him.
When she makes him see his daughter.
Yeah.
That part. Yeah.
See, in this universe, what's the public's view on Batman?
He's been gone for a while. I mean, right now he's trying to honor Superman. Now, right? The world is mourning Superman.
Well, maybe not then. Maybe.
Well, I mean, now they are.
Yeah, but in that Deadshot background too, maybe not. I'm not sure.
I don't know when he was taken.
Yeah, I'm saying it's past, but I don't know how far past, how long he's been in that cell.
Yeah.
You know, compared to where BVS is. But like, in like, you know, Batman Begins and stuff, there's a time when like everyone's good for Batman kind of, and then it turns to where everyone's against Batman, and so like I was just kind of wondering because like he was branding people, and it seemed like there was some like stuff on the news like it's bad, he's back and stuff. But like, is he?
I don't think that. See, if you go back to our review, I actually asked that question, like, what does the world think of Batman? But, I mean, when you watch the movie more and more and you think about it, it's like he's just a legend.
Yeah.
Only the people that are in jail know that he's real.
Yeah.
He brands people, and apparently a brand, like, he only gives that brand to, like, the worst people.
The worst of the worst.
Because pretty much, it's like being a pedophile in jail now. Like, if you're a pedophile and people find out, they're going to fucking kill you in jail.
Yep.
If you have a Bat brand,
they know
you've done something so bad that's like...
Not only the cops, but... The Batman came after you.
The Bat thinks that you should be killed by fucking prisoners.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, when she stopped him, was it not because she just didn't want him to kill the Bat, but because she didn't want him to kill? Why was she doing it? Was she just didn't want him to kill people anymore?
So you're saying, like, does she like the Batman?
Yeah. Is there a good public view? Like, Daddy, you can't kill Batman. He helps people. You know? Like, because I feel like if Batman was here, I feel like my kids would love Batman. If I try to kill Batman, my kids would be like, Dad, you can't kill Batman!
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you know what? And I actually really enjoy that they went this way. They didn't make her, like, stereotypical, like, no, Daddy, you're bad, man, I don't like you. You know? She's like, I know you're bad, it's cool.
Well, see, that's where that's kind of
you give me Game Boy.
that's what I'm going with on this. Like, I don't fully get, I guess, the kid.
Yeah.
Because she has the whole, like, Daddy, Mommy says you kill people so I can't live with you.
Yeah.
But I still love you, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, he goes to kill somebody, the Batman. So I'm like, did she stop them because she didn't want to kill people? But then later on, whenever she finally gets to meet him again, she's like, so this hypotenuse is like, you're in a building here and you're killing a guy down here and you need to know how far it is. I'm like, so wait, are you okay with this? Are you not okay with this? Do you just really love Batman?
I don't think
is that what started this?
Yeah. I don't think that she's necessarily okay with it. But I mean, I guess it's just one of those unconditional love things. Like, that's just what he does. You know? And, you know, like my dad is really good at, you know, fixing cars. I'm not very good at fixing cars, but when he asks me for help fixing cars, I go in and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Which, I feel like I'm okay if she's like, I love my dad.
Yeah.
But he kills people.
Yeah.
Then why did she stop Batman?
Maybe she thought that Batman would kill him. Maybe Batman will brand you. You know?
Maybe she just didn't want to see her daddy kill somebody. Maybe that was more of it. I was just kind of curious on that. Aspect
yeah.
Of, like,
I get you.
I love the moment.
I think that for all of our problems, that's what we would say is that I love the moment. I don't have enough context to feel like I could love it more.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
Yeah.
Like, for everything that I really enjoyed, there's a small, cynical part of me being like, hey, you shouldn't enjoy that much. You know? Which is probably a fault of mine. You know, being a little too analytical. You know, you could just watch the movie, enjoy it, and forget about it. But we don't do that here.
No.
You know, we talk.
Don't do that here.
Yeah. It's
no fun!
Yeah. Do I think this movie is 28% rotten? No, that's ridiculous. No. If I had to grade it... I don't think
it's the perfect movie.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't give it 100%.
No, I don't like to grade or rate things anyway, but if I had to, I would give this, like, if 5 is average, like a 6.5 or 7,
yeah,
honestly.
I was thinking like a 7 or something.
But I would also do that for BVS. Like, maybe like a 7.
Yeah, maybe like a 6.
Yeah.
Or maybe a 5.
I don't know if I'd go so far 5. I definitely liked more than I didn't. I just so much... You know what? It's so much long. It's so much easier to talk about the stuff that you don't like.
Yes.
The stuff you do. Because stuff you do, you enjoy it and you kind of forget about it. The stuff you don't like, it kind of gets in there. That's... I mean, look at fucking YouTube comments, you know?
Right.
Like, when we get YouTube comments, like, we get so much good stuff. But you get that one bad comment, and you're like, this fucking guy, you know?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with my hair.
I don't know why I'm red. I don't know.
You're like, your face is red.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that when Harley Quinn broke the window and grabbed the purse out, that when Deadshot was there, that was the same coat that he got his daughter on the night that he got caught by the Batman?
Really?
I was thinking it was, but I wasn't 100%.
Okay.
That's why he was staying there looking at it for so long.
Oh, okay. So it was the exact same.
It was the exact same coat.
It was a big white coat with a hood on it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think that's the same coat, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I didn't study the coat.
You know, her breaking that window and doing that thing, that was one of those scenes where I'm like, I felt like that was a reshoot they put in there to make it a little more fun.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't mind.
Or to edit the trailer.
Or that.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I just... It felt the tiniest bit artificial, maybe.
Really?
Maybe. I don't know.
It felt like, okay, we're going over there and we're going to try and make our best time.
Yeah.
And they were walking down the street and then, okay.
It could be a matter of, like, they watch the movie and they're like, I like the movie, but maybe they watched BVS, they even heard the fucking reviews, and they're like, we should make this funnier.
Yeah. It's more lighter.
And it's like, alright, well, I mean, every movie does reshoots, let's throw a couple of funny things in there. And, you know, sometimes in the editing, it can feel a little...
Added?
Inserted, yeah. But whatever. I still appreciated those kind of shots. Did you guys feel that Rick Flag and Will Smith, their chemistry sometimes didn't match the character?
Yeah.
Sometimes I felt like...
They were too buddy-buddy?
I could feel how much fun they're having filming versus what their character should be feeling.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I felt like sometimes it was like, those guys would be really good friends if they're not these characters, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt like that leaked through a little tiny bit in the performance.
I didn't notice that initially watching it.
I may again a little bit.
It was especially, I thought, apparent in the scene where they're talking about Amanda Waller. He's like, man, she's a bad bitch, whatever the fuck she said, he said.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you know?
Yeah.
But the way they kind of, like, in a couple scenes, bounce off each other, felt more buddy-buddy than, like, guys don't like each other.
A more buddy cop kind of thing?
Yeah.
Going on?
I felt just a tiny bit of that kind of chemistry. But I also felt that with the whole team, and not feeling like, well, this is my new family. It's like, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, they're kind of like the same type of person.
Yeah.
Just one's more good, one's more bad, and one misses and one doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're both, like, fighting soldier kind of guys, just kind of on different ends.
Did it feel like, to you guys, that Deadshot was the team leader, rather than Rick Flag?
Well, by the star power of Will Smith, it had to be.
I think part of it, too, is, like, it was easier for him to say, hey... The main things was, like, they kept going for Flag.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's like, surround him, cover him, because if he dies, we die.
Yeah.
And I think maybe he had more of a grasp and he understood more things.
Well, it's also that he's much more military-like, I think, than anybody. Like, he fit in more with those guys
with
than
military
the other
guys.
Suicide Squad members.
Yeah. And I think it's easier for them to listen to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than listen.
I think that's why
what
I felt, too, because when Rick Flag was getting taken the first time, he was like, and Harley was like, good riddance, and she...
If he
dies, we die.
Yeah.
Why didn't Harley Quinn just run away at the end? Remember, like, Amanda came out and was like, "Fuck, why aren't you dead?" And everyone's like, "Oh," and she had to hand the button. Harley Quinn was fine. She could have just left.
Yeah.
She's like,
she could have shot her.
Why couldn't?
Well, she still thought Joker was dead, so maybe she just didn't care because she could have just left at any point.
Yeah, but they put a new bomb in her now.
I think that there is no Harley Quinn without the Joker. So as soon as the Joker is dead, which I don't think anybody bought that, did you?
I was like, fuck, oh, he's gone.
He's dead now.
I said it to Cal, he's dead.
It's like there's like an end scene. It's Bruce Wayne at Joker's funeral, and he's like, I failed him in life. I won't fail him in death.
I knew they would do that to Slipknot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was like,
I knew when like
I
you
thought at
didn't
least
see
one more would
Joker. That
Yeah. I thought if anybody, it would have been Diablo.
he did.
he did.
Like he's
dead.
He's dead.
I mean, he's gone. I don't know where he went. But him and that fucking big monster guy both just gone.
I guess. For some reason, I thought, like, well, because he's a fire thing, he probably can survive.
Well, he was back to normal
Fire.
there. Just, like, with a fire hand.
Yeah, but he's still fire, though, right?
He's not made of fire.
Yeah, but
he's an inhuman.
And if he didn't have an explosion, he fell into water.
Yeah.
It's not inhuman, it's
Metahuman?
metahumans,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he's
The Inhumans are Marvel.
yeah. My bad.
So, but no, I'm pretty sure he died.
I mean, I agree.
Okay, we didn't see a body
Yeah.
like we did with fucking Slipknot.
Yeah.
But
Just hanging there.
maybe he could come back. But
Okay.
Headless.
I think what they did is like, all right, he's really super powerful. We use him at the end. Maybe he dies, and if we make a new movie, they don't have this super powerful being
Yeah.
to save him from whatever.
True,
now, You
right.
know what I mean? Like something like that. Kind
Yeah,
of
Okay. I guess I just...
Of this group, he
No,
definitely
you're right.
was
We
like the
never
Superman.
saw him again, and nothing ever happened, but...
Yeah.
Fuck, he should just.
I just felt like with all of his shit that he did...
There was
where
no
he
like loss.
he's so...
show
I'm
either.
saying, like, he's so close to fire, he never once showed the ability... Like, showed, like, heat, like, affecting him.
Could he?
I just imagine that the bomb just didn't fucking do anything.
Well, I mean, bullets affect him, right?
I don't
That's
know.
basically
He
what
never
a
got
bomb
shot.
creates.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
just
know.
a.
He would just stand there and people would shoot all around. He just. You know, so I don't know if he could die or not. He wasn't dodging, taking cover or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't really, like I said, we don't know enough about him.
We definitely didn't get any closure.
Could he have just
No.
turned into a fucking monster thing and just taken that thing out of his neck? Or burned it up or something?
I mean, it's possible
You know, like-
that when he did that, it just like it either fell out or burned up
When-
or didn't hurt him, and then he just escaped.
When he turned into the monster thing, did he, like, metamorphize into it? Or, for some reason I have it in my head that he, like his skin, like, flew apart and he came, like, out of it. But then he just, like, turned back into it.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
I don't know.
That was
kinda-
so sudden.
It's
this
not
one
like-
second he's there and he's hurt,
Fire
and then the
and-
next second I'm just looking at this giant thing, and that was the first thing we talked about. It's probably the last thing we'll talk about. That thing.
One more thing. What did you think
Sure.
of the ending credit?
The Batman scene.
Yeah. Just very Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel-y.
Kinda.
You know,
I wouldn't know.
Tony Stark.
I've
like,
been.
Definitely felt Tony Stark.
I would have been more excited if I hadn't already seen all of that information in BVS.
Yeah.
It was honestly like if I had missed it and you guys had told me about it, I'm like, oh cool.
now,
I would have been like, I gotta go see it.
who was
you
on the
know?
front page whenever he opened it up? Wasn't it the Enchantress?
It was
It was the
Enchantress.
Enchantress.
And
Yeah.
then it was like
Aquaman.
And then it was Flash.
Flash and then
And
Aquaman,
then it was Aquaman.
right?
Yeah.
So why was the Enchantress in that folder?
I
Is
think
that weird?
I think it was just like who's all the metahumans you know.
Okay.
I think is what it was. And he's
Yeah,
like,
I think it was like the complete
like
folder.
bad, good. Okay, got it, good. Just quit doing shit.
My friends and I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
So-
super friends. You should have done that. Damn it.
Super Friends.
Yeah. There you go. Anything
All right.
else, guys?
No. I
All
don't
right,
think
that
so.
was
You got
a
anything
very
else?
long conversation. Overall, I think our consensus is good.
Yeah.
Not the best ever.
No.
Had awesome moments. Wish I cared about those moments more. Is that? I
Yeah.
guess that would be what it is.
I wish we had a little more background.
More context.
Even one more movie before somehow like giving us something.
Yeah. I know
Even
that's
if it was
hard to
just-
ask.
Yeah.
But
Even if it was just like the Batman type characters or something. I don't know. And I feel like
Yeah.
I might have the same issue when Justice League comes out. Of like, here's all these characters together, but
Yeah.
I don't feel like we really earned this yet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean,
is
it's-
Justice League coming out before Wonder Woman?
No, Wonder Woman will be up next, and then Justice League's not until 2018, isn't it? Or is it 2017?
I think it's
We still got a while for Justice
I think it's late
League.
2017.
Yeah. Okay.
But he basically like assembles the team in Wonder Woman, doesn't he?
No, Wonder Woman's
doing
going
it-
to take place in World War
Yeah,
One.
it's like way
Oh, okay.
past.
We'll get the Chris Pine story.
So we'll
and
get
stuff.
her
That's
background,
right.
and we
I
have
forgot.
a little bit of Batman background. But Aquaman, we'll learn whatever we learn from that.
Yeah.
I doubt we're gonna learn any Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
No.
And I doubt we're gonna learn any Flash and Wonder Woman.
I
So-
think.
I mean, how old is
Wonder Woman?
No, Aquaman. I can't remember his real name.
He's Arthur Curry. He was born and raised on land and found out he was like king of the sea. So he's like 30. He's like the age Jason Momoa is.
Okay.
He's not,
but like he hasn't
immortal or
been
anything.
like okay. That's what I was wondering.
No, he would
How long
be
he's been
like
ruling
contemporary
Atlantis.
to Batman or Superman or something
Okay.
like that. Okay, so like I said, our consensus is probably we want more context, but this might just be a side effect of the jumpstart the DCU has gotten versus what Marvel has owned.
Yeah, I'm
Right?
really excited for like here in like 2-3 years, the movies are coming out with already having a little bit of background laid on characters. Like when we get the next Joker movie with Batman or whatever, like if he gets his own standalone, I think that'd be fun because we've already had a little bit of taste of whatnot. Yeah. And be like, oh, okay, we're good.
Yep.
But I would. I mean, I'd say go see it. I liked it. I don't.
No,
think
yeah,
it,
go
does,
see
it.
it.
doesn't deserve. A
Don't
30%
let fucking.
No.
We're reviewers, but don't let like the bad things that we say. You'll take it personally, or this is just a fun conversation between friends. I enjoyed the movie way more than I was annoyed by some things.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
way more. Like
I definitely felt good coming.
There
out
were
of the
moments
theater.
in this movie that I'm like, this is fun, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, odds are if you're watching this right now, you've probably already seen it.
Of course.
With it being spoilers.
Most likely.
But there are some
Yeah.
people that don't.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, let's see what they think before I see it. If you haven't seen it, I'd say go see it. It's fun.
But what I'm saying is like, don't focus too much on negativity, and don't let negativity be taken personally. You know.
Yeah.
That's all it has to be. But overall, enjoyed the movie. Good experience. Glad we saw it. Make sure you guys are looking out for 2. We're going to have the Batman v Superman honest trailer.
Yeah.
Should be up either before this or after. I'm not sure. Probably right after.
I'm excited for the Harley Quinn solo movie.
Is there going to be a solo movie?
I know, but I'm excited for it.
There's damn sure going to be
Because
some.
those croc pants.
Maybe it's just 15 minutes long, but
I'm just saying, there's damn sure. You know that they parody everything on porn now. I mean,
Oh my god.
So there will be that 15-minute.
I'd be
solo
surprised. I'd be
film.
surprised there's not already there.
There'll be a 15-minute Harley Quinn like Han Solo movie.
You can email that to Aaron Elliott. That's AAR. Give your address. Your wife would love that.
Send it to P.O. Box 304.
No, don't do that, please.
Please.
And if you do, address it to Calvin.
No.
Aaron.
Okay, guys. So that was a review / conversation / yay Suicide Squad. Shut the fuck
I love conversations.
Down in the descriptions, all the links to our
Social media.
blindwave.net has
Stuff.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Like and subscribe.
I'm Eric.
I'm Calvin.
I'm Aaron.
Hit the button.